I'm gonna take a tour of my other plants. Here is what I'm hoping will be a lilac bush. I'm not positive that's what it is yet, but it's grown pretty well, and I pulled it in right before or after a couple frosts, and I'm letting it just sit inside right now. See, it's growing towards the light, but I'm gonna put it outside after frost has passed, and hopefully it grows nice and big. And then when we get a house, I'm gonna transplant them outside. There's my jacaranda tree. He's in a nice big pot that keeps water in it down here, and he's growing pretty good. He's growing towards the light too, but I'm gonna trim him up in the spring once I get him outside. So I'll get rid of that curvy growth and maybe try to start wiring some branches if he starts growing them. I have no idea what this plant is. It's just a regular house plant. We'll call him Charlie. I don't know. Here's the bonsai my mother-in-law gave me for my birthday this past year in 2012. So he's going on about 6 months now that I've been keeping him alive at the very least. You can see on this branch right here, that there's some woody growth. It looks like it was green and now it's starting to get woody. So I'm hoping that this tree stays good, and then once spring comes and I get a couple of these guys off of the my old TV stand here, I'm gonna put him out there, so hopefully he gets a little bit more light. Here's my money tree, as I like to call it, or jade tree. I don't know. It's got a million different names. But I got that one. I've had that for a year and a half now. And one of those other houseplants, when we just went to Mexico this past weekend, last weekend, I'm sorry, there were these plants everywhere, houseplants, and they're houseplants up here, but down there they're just outside everywhere. And then I got my orchid, which is not blooming, but I've been neglecting it, so I'm gonna need to start feeding it and stuff. Jessica named this orchid Victoria. Really pretty purple flowers. We'll see if I can get them to grow out again soon, get them to bloom again. And this is, I don't know, philodendron? Now they grow wild in Mexico also. Or not wild, but everywhere inside the resort that we were at. Pretty hardy plant. I just water it every now and again, and it's really forgiving. I just let it hang here in the corner off this little hook I got. Seems to do pretty well. Oh, I almost forgot my little begonia I got out of a mixed pot. I got him out of the same pot as the, who I'm affectionately calling Charlie now. But that begonia, somehow it survived. It's, you know, it was in a little dinky pot. I repotted him today. And I repotted the big guy today. And I repotted my cactus. This is one of my favorite ones right here. That's one of my favorite plants. He looks really white, but he's actually green. Let's see if we can get, see how much more green he is when I turn him around. All those needles make it look feathery and white. And he's had all these little tiny knobs growing out of him. And I think that's really cool. So I transplanted him into a little bit bigger pot today to see if we can get him to grow better. And then outside, I've got this dianthus that I'm hoping to resprouts. See, it's a pretty plant. It throws off little pink and white and red flowers. My snapdragon, which I'm sure is dead now, but I'll replant him in a couple weeks. Something else in there. And then all the trees we got from Arbor Day. Just kind of spreading them out. I'll replant those once they get some new growth on them. They'll be in some white pots that my mother-in-law's giving me. And then when we get a house in a couple years, I'll probably transplant some of them, or maybe try to bonsai some of them. But for now, they're just chilling here in the cold. And that's all.